Hi, I'll just do some settings and we are ready to begin. Good evening, everyone. My name is Aurora Shweta. I think it's still too. Good evening, everyone. Okay, good to go. Fantastic. So my name is Aurora Shweta and I manage project Maverick at LawSikho, which is an initiative to make great quality content for your CLAT preparations available freely online. So we take up a lot of sessions with regards to preparation for CLAT, and today we chose English. It is of course a very, very important section. We're going to discuss today as to how to approach reading comprehension in particular, as to what to do, what not to do, and how to really improve at that. Reading comprehension often baffles a lot of students. So it is something that, people are very but today we have Dhwani, who has prepared, a session today, especially keeping in mind and how to approach the questions. She is a co-founder at the Institute of Advanced Coaching, and she will take it over from here. Thank you. Dhwani, I'll just unmute you. Yeah.
Thank you, Shweta. Hello, everybody. My name is Dhwani Gupta. So today in this webinar, we are going to focus on reading comprehension. We all know that reading comprehension has now become an inevitable part of CLAT and almost every other competitive exam. So this is not something which is very new. We are doing this since our childhood days. In our school also, we have been doing a lot of reading comprehensions. But what happened is when we have to solve a reading comprehension for some competitive exam like CLAT, so it becomes a task. So our today's webinar is all about, I'll share some tips with you which will help you to score better marks in this section. So my first tip which I would like to share with you would be, we should always read the passage at a very comfortable speed. You know what happens is, when we try to read the passage very quickly, we tend to skip words. Because see, RC is not a speed reading contest. When you will read very fast, you will miss lines, you will miss words. For that, you have to read the passage again, which is a sheer waste of time at such a crucial moment when you have to solve the entire paper. So I think you should always read the passage at a very comfortable speed. Whatever you are reading, you should read it nicely so that you can get maximum, you can draw out maximum meaning from the passage. So first thing is this. Secondly, I would like to say, I have seen a lot of students that try to memorize the passage. So which is also very wrong. See, when we are sitting in such a competitive exam, we already have a lot of things to memorize. So please don't memorize the comprehension. What happens is, I have seen a lot of students who will read 2-3 lines again and again, Then what will happen? By the time you will reach the end of the passage, you will forget everything. This happens because you were trying to memorize it. So please don't memorize it, just understand it. You know why reading comprehension has become an important section in almost every competitive exam in CLAT? Because reading comprehension tests the student's capability, that how much he could understand, how much he could grasp from the passage. So please try to read the passage, understand its meaning, and don't try to memorize it. Next thing I would like to say is, you should always try, when you are reading the passage, try to find important keywords in the passage. So this will also prove a lot of beneficial for you, because when you'll complete reading the passage, you can see the words highlighted. You don't have to read the passage again. you already know, you will be on the same page. You will be able to do questions very nicely. Next thing I would like to say, vocabulary. Even vocabulary plays a very important part. See, not only for solving a comprehension, vocabulary as a whole is very important because it is the only medium through which we communicate. So for CLAT, for other entrance exams, but you should have a nice vocabulary. So I can suggest you some ways which will help you to have a good vocabulary. See, LawSikho is also providing a very good platform in which they are providing English vocabulary videos every day, which gives you an opportunity to learn 8 to 10 English vocabulary words daily, along with their meanings and sentences. So I think this is a very good chance to increase your vocabulary, because if you will give 10 minutes time reading, watching those videos, so in a month you'll learn about 300 words, I think, which is a very good start to diversify your vocabulary. So one thing this could be. Next is, you could increase your vocabulary by reading newspapers, because reading newspaper not only increases your journal knowledge, but also because of the complex sentences, you can also increase your vocabulary, diversify it. So you can do that. And yes, obviously you can read novels, English comics, you can watch English serials. All these things helps you a lot in increasing your vocabulary. So I personally prefer vocabulary is very important. Work on it. See, it's not a one-day process. In one day, it is not like that you will have a good vocabulary. It's a slow process, but once you will get into it, you will not have any problem. Supposedly, what happens a lot of time when you are solving a comprehension, a lot of time some difficult words come up, which, and you get puzzled because you don't know their meanings. So if you will increase your vocabulary, if you will work on it, you will not get stuck anywhere. So I think it is very important to have a good vocabulary. Next thing I would like to say is, some comprehensions are very complex. They are basically on science fiction. So I suggest try solving those passages also, because if you will solve them, so in case it appears in the examination, you'll easily able to do it. So it's very important, try solving all the genres, science fiction, political, economics, you like it or you don't like it, but do it. Practice as much as possible. The next thing I would like to say, that always focus on the opening and the closing paragraph. You know, the questions like, what is the theme of the passage? What is the central idea of the passage? The answers of these questions generally lies in the opening and the closing paragraph. So just focus on them, because if you will read it nicely, if you will understand it nicely, you will always be able to answer it correctly. Now, the next thing is, when you are solving questions, so this is basically an MCQ pattern, multiple choice questions. So the options that you think are irrelevant, are not mentioned in the passage, eliminate them, so that you will have a limited focus on the right options. It will make easier for you to choose among the right answers. And when you are done doing all these things, and when you are ready to go, when you are practicing all these things, I think time management also plays a very important part, because it's not just the comprehension which you have to do in an entrance exam, but apart from that, you should allocate your time wisely. You should know how much time you want to give in one comprehension. So this comes after a lot of practice. See, there is no shortcut of practice. The more you will practice, the more there are chances that you will score better. So these were some tips, I think, which will be very helpful for you in reading comprehension. So now I am going to read out a comprehension to you. I'll explain it, and then we will do some questions. So the passage is being taken from Ragi Ragini, Chronicles from AG's Kitchen by Anjali Purohit. Ma always had a rough time in Dad's house. He, an undersecretary in the civil service, thought he had married beneath his position and treated Ma with the contempt he felt she deserved, an opinion shared by the rest of his family as well. So, the author's mother always had a rough time at her dad's house. He was an undersecretary in civil service. He thought that he had married a woman which is not capable, which is not very good, which is not up to her standard. So year after year passed by without any sign of a child being born into the family, Ma began to lose hope of regaining any respect or status within her husband's household. So after many years of marriage, there was no sign of a child. So the author's mother didn't have any hope that she will ever gain respect in that family, or she will ever be respected, treated nicely by her in-laws. The inevitable followed. She was ordered around, overworked, underfed, and often beaten. She would regularly be ill. It seemed they were waiting to see the end of her, and when she hesitantly told Dad she was expecting, no one seemed too enthusiastic or happy. So she was, as we know, she was ill treated, she was underfed, she was beaten. So everybody was torturing her a lot. Her in-laws were torturing her a lot. So one day she said to her husband that she was expecting, but as usual, the reaction was not very good. Her husband reacted very coldly. He was not enthusiastic. He was not happy. The delivery was difficult. My birth was premature. When they learned that the child was a girl, they stopped coming to the hospital. Ma died a week later. So obviously, when you will not get love, so the delivery was the whole time was very bad for her. The delivery was difficult. The child was premature. And when the author's parental house knew that the mother had given birth to to a girl, they have stopped visiting the hospital too. So after a week's time, the author's mother died. They wanted nothing to do with me, an ugly runt of a girl. So they were not happy because she was a girl. She was an ugly runt of a girl, means an ugly, weak girl with shriveled up skin, fit only to follow her no good, stubborn mother out of this world. They were only too happy to let Masi take me off their hands and away to her ancestral home in a small coastal Konkan village, Parvi, where she lived with my grandmother, her mother, AG. So, because she was being disowned by her parental house, the author's Masi took her. Masi means author's mother's sister. So her Masi took her away to their ancestral house where she used to live with her mother, author's grandmother AG, and they went to a Konkan village named Parvi. The village doctor shook his head sadly on looking at me, but Masi was as adamant as her sister had been. In that house, I was reared purely on Masi's grit and AG's determination and loving care as they nursed me with ragi extract, diluted cow's milk, soft hand pounded rice, and coconut. So when her Masi took her to the village, even the village doctor was very sad seeing her status that she is so weak, but her Masi was adamant. She knew that she will be able to take care of her very nicely. So it is because of her Masi's dedication and willpower and her grandmother's dedication, they nursed her with ragi, diluted cow milk, rice, coconut. Day after day, they labored. As a baby, they fed me the ragi extract mixed with diluted milk and the starch water from boiled rice. So she was being fed nicely. She was given ragi so that she could become strong. A little older, and they made ragi porridge, then ragi bhakri, roti, laddus, sevai, and a miracle took place. Masi and AG watched me grow from strength to strength. So, because they were taking so care of her, she became a very strong girl. The way she was born, she was premature, she was very weak. But now, because of their constant efforts, their labor, she has become a now strong girl. Now I am 25, a foot taller than Masi, and completing my postgraduate studies in medicine. So now she is a good, healthy girl, which is even taller than her Masi. She has completed her post-graduation studies in medicine. She's 25. So as I have already told, this was extracted, this passage was taken from Ragi Ragini Chronicles from AG's Kitchen by Anjali Purohit. So now it's time for the questions. Why, according to the author, did her father treat her mother with contempt? So let's see what are the options and work out which could be the best answer. First, because she had given birth to a daughter. So I don't think this could be any reason of treating someone badly or torturing someone because she had given birth to a daughter. So this is not the right answer. Second, because she was regularly ill. Yeah, she was regularly ill because she was being tortured, she was being overworked, underfed, but this has nothing to do with the bad behavior she was given. So this is also not the right answer. C, because he felt he had married beneath his position. So this is something which we have read in the passage. It was written in the starting that as his father was an undersecretary in civil service, he always thought that his mother was not up. Her mother was not up to her standards. So this is the right answer. The author's father always treated her mother badly because he always thought that her mother is not of her financial status. D, because she was not a good cook. So this is also irrelevant. Nothing like this is mentioned in the passage. So this is also the wrong option. The correct answer is C, because he felt he had married beneath his position. The next question is, which of the following can be inferred as the reason why the author's father's family was happy to let Masi take the author away? So there are some options and they are asking that what could be the reason that his father's family was happy when her Masi took her away? Because the child was ugly girl, ugly, small and weak. See, because the child is girl, ugly, small and weak. See, this is correct because that phrase which is written, an ugly runt of a girl. So she is a girl, she's ugly, she's runt means she's weak, she's small. B, because the child was noisy and troublesome. So nothing like this is being mentioned in the passage. So it could not be the correct answer. So we are eliminating this option. C, because the child was born at an inauspicious time. So even any such thing is not mentioned in the passage. So we are eliminating even this option. This is also not correct. Because the child was undernourished and weak. See, this could also be the correct answer. Because yes, she was weak because she was a premature child. But if we see between option A and D, the more accurate is girl, ugly, small, and weak. So A is the correct answer. Next question. What does the word adamant as used in the passage mean? So they are asking the meaning of adamant. First, easily swayed by others' opinions. This means that people who get easily convinced by others' opinion. So that doesn't mean adamant. Frightened and scared, people who get scared, no. Third, hardworking and tough. So adamant has nothing to do with hardworking. D, refusing to be persuaded to change one's mind. So this is the correct answer. People who are very strong-headed, who cannot be persuaded to change to change their mind. So even in the passage also, it was written that her Masi, even when the village doctor was sad, seeing her condition, her Masi was adamant. It is because of her and her grandmother's constant labor that she has become a strong woman now. So adamant means refusing to be persuaded to change one's mind. The next question is, based on the information set out in the passage, which of the following is most accurate? So there are some options, and the information, the description which is given in the passage, you have to find out which is the most accurate one. A, Masi and AG were careless and neglectful in bringing up the author. So do you think, is this the answer correct? No, because they labored a lot with the little child. So they were not at all careless, they were not at all neglectful. In fact, it is because of their stern determination that the author has become into a young woman now. So A is not the right answer. B, Masi and AG put a lot of pressure on the author to study medicine. Nothing like this is mentioned in the passage. It is not in the description. It is just written at the last that she completed her post-graduation in medicine. So this is also the wrong answer. Nothing like this is mentioned. C, Masi and AG put in a lot of effort and love in raising the author. Yes, this is the correct answer. They had done a lot. They used to feed her with ragi, with coconut, with rice, and with lot of things. They had given her a lot of love. So Masi and AG put in a lot of effort and love in raising the author. This is the correct option. D, we'll read the last option too. Masi and AG were forced to take care of the author against their wishes. Nothing like this was written there. In fact, when she was disowned by her parental family, it was Masi only who took her with her to the small village to take care of her. And she and her mother and her grandmother were responsible of raising her. So D is also incorrect. Now the last question is, which of the following best sums up the author's main point in the passage? So which is the main point? Let's see. First, women should not marry above their position in life, as a husband would neglect them. So this is the wrong question. There is nothing about this because it is not right. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है कि अगर आप अपनी position, अगर आप अपने husband से थोड़े कम पोजीशन पे होगे तो वो राइट मिल जाता है हस्बैंड को कि वो आपको अच्छे से ट्रीट नहीं करे. सो दिस इज कंप्लीटली रॉन्ग. बी, Masi and AG brought up the author with love and determination against all odds and despite her father's family rejecting her. Yes, this is the correct answer. Masi and AG had put their all efforts in bringing up, in raising the author, and despite her father's family has rejected her. C, Masi and AG were experts in bringing up children and were medically qualified to treat children's illness. This is also wrong because nothing as such is mentioned in the passage. They took her because they loved her. D, the author is taller than Masi because of the genes she inherited from her father. So this is also irrelevant. Nothing as such is written in the passage. So this is also wrong. So the correct answer is C, B, Masi and AG brought up the author with love and determination against all odds and despite her father's family rejecting her. So that's all for today. I hope this session proves very useful to you. If you have any queries, any questions, please feel free to ask. write in the chat box. I will reply as soon as possible. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dhwani, to take us through the passage. I really like how you did the, how to eliminate all the wrong options and then get to the right answer. Sometimes right answer is very easy to find. Sometimes it gets a bit complicated. They're all very similar. And then, it's confusing and to the extent of losing a mark. Thank you. That was really nice. If you could also, so you mentioned about vocabulary, it's so critical to really, for solving reading comprehension. And because of the new pattern, there's a lot of reading, it's like every section has RCs, this 2020 CLAT would have. And for all those who are watching, if there's any question regarding how to approach answering, it's not in particular for this passage, but anything else you would like to ask on the subject, please feel free to do so, and we can really take it from there. I was just, I'll look at the YouTube as well, Dhwani, since we're live, if we have any questions on YouTube.
Okay.
Okay, right. None so far. A lot of people have liked on YouTube. And ma'am, how to prepare for vocabulary? Sehaj is asking.
So to prepare for vocabulary, you can always read newspapers. And whenever you are reading an article, any difficult word which you have come across, you can underline it, write the meaning of it, and it will be really helpful. Also, the LawSikho is providing English vocabulary videos every day, in which it has 8 to 9 words with their meanings and sentences. So every day, if you will spare 10 minutes of watching those videos, you'll be able to learn a lot of words. By the end of the month, you'll be able to learn 300 words. So I think that will be a good start. And yes, read as many newspapers you can, as many novels you can, watch English serials. All these things will help you a lot in improving your vocabulary.
That's right. And it'll also, obviously, it will help you in your GK section as well. Right. So a lot of speakers have recommended the Hindu a lot. So please start from there. See, with reading comprehension, the thing is that it can be the easiest section to crack. The English section is the easiest to crack for some people, and some people find it the most difficult one. So it depends on how prepared you are, how confident you are to solve those questions. So that, and also what I think what reading comprehension does is it is the capacity for the person who's taking the test, how they understand, comprehend, summarize the answer. They're not as direct. The questions are not as direct as they used to be.
Answers are very confusing. Basically, the idea of RC in every competitive exam, in CLAT exam, is to judge how much the student is able to grasp from the passage. So it is basically to check your understanding skills. So that's why I was saying that there is no use of memorizing the passage. Ultimately, you have to understand it. Because until and unless you'll understand the passage, you will not be able to answer the questions. Because even in this passage also, the second question, there were 4 options in which 2 were quite similar. It is very easy to get confused between those options because they are quite similar. But if you have read the passage thoroughly and you understood it, only then you can differentiate what is the right answer and which one is the wrong.
Abhishek wants to ask, is it a good idea to read the questions first and then the passage?
No, I don't think so, because it doesn't, I know it is written in a lot of places that we should read the questions first. I don't think so. No, it has not helped me, because ultimately if I read the question also, I have to read the passage. You cannot skip that part. Reading passage is extremely important, and understanding it is also very important. So I think if you will read questions first, that will just be a waste of time, because at the end of the day, if you read the question also, you have to read the passage to understand it. So no, you should always read the passage first, try to understand it. And I'm saying that if you will practice a lot, if you will practice daily, make it a habit of doing one comprehension. I am sure, I can bet on this. If you will do this, if you will practice this, 100% you will be able to crack any exam, CLAT exam, any other competitive exam. It will be very easy.
Thank you. Sehaj says that, ma'am, whenever I learn some new words, but after some time I forget the words.
Yeah, this is very common. It's okay. But you know what? In that LawSikho session only, we have put a small quiz after all the sessions, just to, and that quiz is about the previous words. So in just this is just because you can memorize it, you can remember them once again. And what happens is, when you are writing down the words, or when you are seeing them somewhere, just make it a habit that after a week's time you are just scrolling down the words. I'm sure you'll be able to recall them. So it happens whenever, so in school days also, when we used to have exams, we used to read a lot, we used to learn a lot. But when we are at the time when we have to write the paper, what happens is that we completely forget anything. So this is just a mind barrier. I don't think so. Just read it, go through it once again, and you will be able to memorize them, recall them 100%.
Great. I think some words are easy to remember, and
Yes.
some are a bit tricky. The idea is, which you feel that you will forget, try to write them down. Have a notebook separate for every. I'm sure you already have a notebook there. You can just put in all the words that you've learned, and you find that you might forget. Great, no problem. Rohit Kamnani says, how to improve your grammar and punctuation. Is there any particular website you would recommend, he says?
I would recommend one book, Renan Martin. It is a very nice book. Go through that book. It is the best book one can ever learn from. It is good for grammar, good for punctuation. Please go through that book. I am sure if you will go through that book, you will definitely, there will be no problem, no other grammar issues, and you'll be good to go.
Great. It's a great book. I think it's the most popular one among the CLAT aspirants. Abhinav, you've asked a question which is not related to the topic. We're talking about English, and we're talking about reading comprehension today. He wishes to talk about Vizag gas leak, and is it a case of strict liability or absolute liability? So I think wrong forum. Maybe in one of our other webinars you can find that answer. Anything else, and also if there's any feedback that you would like to put in the chat box, anything that you would like us to maybe repeat in English section, or cover in English section, or for a particular expert today, please write that down here. In any other subject or section, because we're talking about CLAT preparation completely, so any other subject that you're looking to prepare better, also put it in the chat box. We're very happy to hear the feedback and also suggestions at the same time. I will check once again the YouTube questions. When I just give me a minute. Okay, so I think that is all on YouTube. Right. Thank you. I think we can wrap that up, Dhwani. Are we done?
Yes, okay. I think any more queries?
No, I think we've covered them all. So thank you so much for taking the time preparing so thoroughly with the one passage to really make people understand the other passages. So whenever they're answering, they will know how to read the questions, how to read the passage, and how to answer. Also, we'll keep coming back to you for other advice, let's say on grammar or other things to cover. Also, thank you everyone for joining us today, and stay tuned for more webinars on CLAT preparations.
Thank you very much. It was lovely having you all. It was a wonderful session. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.